And we are live, and here we are at the launch event of this fantastic audio drama that we have come with on our platform of Storytel. And first and foremost, this is our wonderful joy to have Anand Neelakantan with us. Hello, Anand.
Hi, Sunamita. My pleasure. For
Anand
me also, it's a
Neelakantan.
great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so we will have a lot of conversation today, and Nala's Damayanti is the first audio drama on Storytel, which has been translated in 9 languages, and we have done the audio drama in all these 9 languages, and it's a full-blown 5.5 to 6.5 hours, 6.5 hours, depending on the each languages. It's that long audio drama, and we are very very excited to have it on our platform. Thank you so much, Anand, for writing such a beautiful story. And your mythological fictions have always been very successful, very popular, and we really really would like to see, and people are really also talking a lot about this book already. So I would like to know from you first that how was your experience and having all these 9 languages come out together in an audio format?
Thank you, Sunamita. It has been a great experience for me. It is your team has been wonderful. All the languages have come out beautifully. I heard not completely all of them, but at least 20 to 30 minutes of all the languages, and 2 or 3 languages. The entire story I heard 5 6 hours to see it. It has been a wonderful production. I think it is more looking like a film rather than an audio drama. It's a visual film what people are created with wonderful music and songs and the dialogues. It has been a splendid effort from the entire team. I'm really grateful for this. Though my books have been translated to 13, 14 languages, they all came in over a period of years. Like Asura, for the last 10 years, it has been translated. But this is something I think only for Bahubali book one, it was done together. That too was around 7 languages. This is the first time I think one of my book is coming in 9 languages together. It's a phenomenal thing which has happened, and I just love the way you people have done it. I think everyone should hear this, because not because I have written it, but because so much effort has been put and such a wonderful production it has been. It is more like a film unfolding before you when you hear it. It's a fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I would really, I would have all the team together today. But first and foremost, I would like to invite Sukirti Sharma, who heads our marketing team here in Storytel India. I would like her to talk a little bit about this fantastic project. And it has been quite a. Yes, Sukirti. Hi.
Hi, Shurumita. So first of all, like you mentioned, for us as Storytel, it's a lot of joy as well as pride because this is, and of course, we go down in history when we say this. This is the biggest and first audio drama in that sense. And there is always a first. So this is the first. Anand Neelakantan's Nala's Damayanti becomes that first audio drama, released in 9 plus 1, total 10 languages, and simultaneously it was a mammoth task, and each of the markets, each of the languages, we have been literally kind of receiving such an overwhelming response. People are saying it's like actually a visual experience, like Anand mentioned, that you literally travel into that world, in that space. It actually sets you in a completely different mood. The music elements added, the storytelling, the narrative, everything makes it a very, very beautiful experience. We are still in the process of taking this journey of promotion to the next month as well, because the book has already got momentum. People are talking about it, and we want to definitely talk about it a lot more in the next month as well.
Thank you, Sukirti. And I'm taking the opportunity to add all the team together here, all the 9 languages, the publishers, so that they can also share their experience. And it is a wonderful thing to have all of them here, along with our production head Rahul Patel. So I hope I've added everybody. Is there
Yeah.
anybody missing? I don't think so. Yeah, I think I've added it.
Yeah.
Yes, hello guys. So I think it will be wonderful if I think if we can start with Prasad ji in Marathi, how the book is doing and what are the kind of reviews that we are getting.
Yes, Marathi, lot of traction is there. Damayanti is a complete different story, different love story, and basically, I think its background is Vidarbha's princess Damayanti. So I found like a different thing that from Vidarbha, lot of people are listening this. Huh? Means in Nagpur, from more than 3,000 uh, subscribers joined, and all these things because of Nal Damayanti, I think so. And it's it has a local regional appeal also, and it's complete different story, different approach. We heard about Nala Damayanti story a little bit in our childhood, but in detail, it is a very good narrative. Marathi definitely they gave us very good response. More than 300, 250 reviews are there, and all are very good reviews. And they like this story, they enjoyed this story, and basically the complete visualization. You can't means you can visualize all the story, all these cliffhangers. um, like a movie, you can experience it. So that's very nice story, I can say.
Prasad ji, I had to personally thank you. It has been wonderful listening to Marathi. The song has come out excellent. The songs of Rituparna and all the fun songs.
Yeah.
Marathi as such is a very powerful language in the sense for a drama. I sometimes see Marathi dramas also. It's a very powerful language and
Right.
it has been utilized so well in the translation and how the artists, the voice artists have performed it. It has been fantastic.
Yes, and we use celebrity narrators. Na? Basically, Sandeep Khare is a poet, celebrity poet and narrator, and also Mrunmay Deshpande is an actress. So it also definitely added in that.
Wonderful work. I am so grateful to you for bringing my humble effort to such a great perfection. I think almost 260, reviews in just 6 7 days.
Yes,
That
yes.
is phenomenal, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Of course, I would really request Rahul to talk about the English production. It was written in English, and I would say that when it was written, I mean, I have a wonderful job here. I think we all have. When the first time the script comes, we get to read it, and in our head, I think we hear all the sounds and the cast, the voices, and the sound effects and everything. And I think what Rahul has done, actually, the designing started with Marathi, and then it kind of went to all the other languages. It was a fantastic. I don't think it would have been better than this. So Rahul, would like you to talk about the production a bit.
Yes, yes, of course. Um, Nala Damayanti, when I got this project to do in all the languages, I was actually thinking about how we should go about it. It is a periodic drama. It is mythological, magical world, mythological world, and contemporary music would do while composing what we thought that we will have to go completely in that period, in that era, and how the sounds would be, how the music would be. Everything was thought, well thought, very well thought. Other thing is that in all the languages, the actors who have performed are from the theater background. They are theater artists. They are actors. Of course, like Prasad just said, that we have actors who have acted in another myth, which makes the difference. So it has highlighted the entire audio aspects and has taken it to another level. Of course, it was so beautifully written. It was so wonderfully written that people, the actors really called me. They thanked and they said that it is such a nice story. It is so. It has got so many hook points. It is so. relevant even today, and so many lots of stuffs were there. And so the actors, I remember talking to people particularly in Marathi, particularly in Gujarati, and then in Bengali. So I knew what people are doing where, because we did the production in Mumbai, not for all languages. The regional languages did happen there in their subordinate areas, but then Gujarati and Marathi was done in our offices. So it was completely uh, a job which has given us immense pleasure and also a lot of satisfaction. And all over, moreover, we like the reviews. We like when people listen to it. We like when people appreciate it. So that is the ultimate results that we were getting.
Thank you, Rahul. It was, I would say, it is a fantastic and fascinating job. I have written screenplays. I have written for OTT shows, and I have written more screenplays than novels. This is my 11th book. Actually, 12th if I include my Malayalam work, but 11th book. But this has been a fantastic experience. Writing an audiobook, I was afraid how this will get translated, because it was for me also, it was for the first time I'm writing specifically for audio. Because
Right.
I have written, when I write screenplays, it's a different thing. No, you discuss with the director, you sit with them, and you discuss with the production guys and the editor and the cameraman. It's a huge teamwork involved. So you write it accordingly. Here I was really scared also how this will come, because I am also doing it for the first time. Writing visually and writing for only for the ear in an auditory manner is are two different things. So for me also, it was a new learning experience, how to create visuals using words, which I have been doing for the last 10 years, almost 500 hours of 450, 460 hours of screenplay I've written. But doing it only through words, which has to be spoken, and when Suramita said it will come in different languages, then I had to select the words which are neutral in English, which will sound good in all languages. So it was technically a very challenging thing to do, and I was really skeptical how this will come out. And hats off to you for bringing it out so beautifully in all languages. Everything has been done exceptionally well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I would just like to add one thing which I think people should know. As like Sunamita said, that Marathi was the first language where we worked on the music because it was getting ready faster, and our composer who we chose and who selected was very well versed with the traditional glimpses of music and the mythological kind of music. So which is why we thought of creating music on the Marathi language. So that couple of things that I would like to share that people should know is one, that when we got the music tracks, they were not matching with the length and the duration were not matching with so many languages. Like like just you said that you like the song of King Riduku. So it was composed in a way where it should sound like Povada, and Povada is a traditional folk culture of Maharashtra. But then this won't go in English language. So we had to tweak and turn. This wouldn't go with Bengali language. So we had to tweak and turn. All so the publishers that you see here, Deepa and Bhavya and Surabhi, have equally invested their time. They have invested their lot of efforts, and they have got this production. So these
I,
are also people who who without whom it was not possible, because to get that language flavor
definitely.
and then
I was
converting or adapting. So it's a great job by these people as
Of course, Reba I have closely worked with, because I had played, she was kind enough to give me a role. I have played the King Rituparna. I am no voice artist. I have played the King Rituparna in Malayalam. It has been a fascinating experience. I started acting in shows recently, in cameo roles and other things, and whatever I write. But that is in Hindi basically. But doing something as a voice artist was a different experience. And the songs, as you said, Bengali song has come beautifully. It has been tweaked to Bengali. So is Assamese. When I heard uh, this Telugu, Tamil, Tamil has gone there. Tamil has been tweaked to resemble the Tamil tunes, and Malayalam. I had told Diba, let us do it like how they sing in the parties in the toddy shops, taddy
Oh,
shops, and other places. No, so it is in that folk tone. She had got it tuned in Malayalam, so it has a different flavor. So every language. So that's why I was hearing. Every language has the songs which have come have got the regional flavor. It is not just the same
not
music.
a
So in
common thing.
Marathi, not a common thing. That is what is wonderful about this. So each language, I loved all the songs. Specifically, uh, Malayalam I am partial because I can understand the language better. But otherwise, I loved Bengali a lot, Marathi a lot, Tamil a lot, Telugu, uh, and some of the voice artists in Assamese sounded wonderful. And Gujarati, of course, has a theater background. Kannada, such a beautiful language to hear. Telugu has that power to speak. Always, Telugu is a very powerful language for this kind of mythological and historical shows, which we see saw from Bahubali onwards, now RRR, even before NTR times. Uh, During the old days, also all the Telugu mythological films, both Telugu and Kannada and Tamil, also always had great mythological stories where the language easily blends for this. So it's a great. I was only frankly afraid about Malayalam because Malayalam is not an easy language for mythological stories. Malayalam is a very realistic language, if you ask me. Malayalam films always have been very realistic. There are hardly, even in the last 70, 80 years of Malayalam films, most of them are very realistic. There are hardly any historical or mythological films to speak of, except for one or two great ones done by some legends like M.T. Vasudevan Nair. So, how will you convert this to Malayalam was a big challenge, which was also handled beautifully. Because Malayalam, what happens when you use very formal language, it starts sounding funny. Malayalam is a language which doesn't easily blend like Marathi or Telugu or Kannada or Bengali for a classical Sanskritized format. But even that challenge was beautifully met. We'll go to each language when you go.
Yes, so talking about Malayalam, I think Deepa, you should mention anything, something spectacular that you.
Well,
Uh,
yes, like Anand sir rightly mentioned, right from the translation. So I sent him the first translation that I got, and he was laughing. He was finding it very funny. So he told me, "Listen, this is not the tone I want. I wanted to be more casual, more fun." So I went around and I picked another translator with both of us have previously known. So that came out very well. And so yeah, but it was very much so whatever he's mentioned, the way we have been able to pull it off in Malayalam, I think the credit very well placed goes back to him, because he was very easy to work with. He would follow up and ask me how is it going. I would like to hear or see the script. And he was also helping me through it, the way he envisioned the whole project. So it was a very good experience. And right when from the when I got the script, um, the first thought that went through my mind is, this is why I'm in audio, and this is why I'm doing this job, because this is the most fun you have in this job, getting the script and then translating the whole thing to audio. Getting the whole thing produced in audio, where you can just close your eyes and visualize the whole story, like movie playing in your own head, with your own your own imagination of characters playing each part, and so beautifully, with the help of music, and there's a lot of energy. It was a whole lot of fun. And it's initially when Anand sir told me that he wanted to play a part in the production. Very honestly, I was a little skeptical, because I did not know how I was going to manage him being in Bombay and us producing the whole thing in Kochi, and how is he going to do it with us being in two different places. So then I kept it very, slow ki dekhenge. Let's see, let's wait and see how this pans out. Let's see if it's possible even. But he was really behind me, and he even sent me an audition without me even asking him. But then the audition was really good. I mean, the part that he recorded and sent me, I was really blown away. He did it so well. Again, Rituparna, we know the character is a very easy, fun loving, easy go person, and he has a certain irreverence to everything that he has in his temperament. And I mean, of course, he captured it very well. And even in Malayalam, he brought a certain Chakyar style of narration to it, which was really unique and very well placed. So the character really stood out. And yeah, it came out so well. I was really not expecting it to sit well with the production, which was otherwise entirely done in Kochi, and he was alone in Bombay, recording his part. And nobody was really able to, because he's doing his own thing in the studio where he's not able to hear anyone else. There's no responding he can do. There's no two people,
Yeah,
so that whenever there's a communication, he's not able to hear the other side.
yeah.
But somehow I am like in awe of the fact that he pulled it off so well. uh,
Wonderfully. We should hear from Anand then. How was your experience narrating Rituparna? And it's a fantastic character. So tell us about that.
See, there is a lot of Rituparna in me. So for me, it was easy to.
We all agree.
If see every book I have written, all the 11 books I have written, I have placed one character which resembles me. Every book has that, from right from Asura or Bahubali or whatever. So in this, it was Rituparna. So it was easy for me. So that's why I was after her life, Deepa's life, saying that I will play this. I know how scared she would have been, how she would say no to me, and I know how difficult it would be. So I was like that
I would
comical
have said
character.
no, but I really did not feel like there is any need for it, honestly.
But I have
Every
heard, but I've
like
heard
we have
Anand
when we
doing
do
this.
films and all, no, we have this care of the producer coming and saying that I will play a role, and we don't know how to accommodate him. So I was seeing from the other side, maybe I'm going to sit on this lady's head and trying to get a role out of it. But I really wanted to play that character, especially in Malayalam. So I did it. The last experience was in college and all, where I used to play the Malayalam plays and all. So it was fun.
Lovely. Going to Bhavya, who did the Tamil version. Bhavya, you want to share something?
Yes. So, hello, Anandji. So, it was a
Hi,
wonderful
hi.
experience overall recording Damayanti in Tamil because this was the first audio drama in Tamil. Uh, the
It has come
narrators were all
fantastical.
excited.
It has come like a
Thank you.
classical
Thank you.
Tamil film. Tamil film, like the language used, Thiruvalayadal and all those things that you used to see. My wife is from Tamil Nadu. She's from Chennai. She enjoyed that best. She heard the entire thing. So Aparna here says, great thanks to you for converting it so beautifully in Tamil.
Thank you so much. It was wonderfully written story that the narrators, as soon as they listened to the story, they were all excited and they were into the action immediately. So one of my narrator, he was so enthusiastic and he said he wants to, he was doing the Rituparna character and he said he wanted to compose the music for the songs. So he volunteered himself and he was so excited. And as soon as I heard the song, I just called him, did the studio person supply something to you to make it so real? Because it
Yeah.
was so natural and it has come out really well. The narrators were so excited about the wholesome experience, like sitting next to each other and recording it. So having a chance to learn from each other was a very good experience for them. And the subtle humor that was there throughout in the story is something that everybody mentioned about your writing. The translator was also mentioning about the subtle humors that you have played throughout the story. So probably this is the way to take mythology to the next generation, so that they listen and they get to know more about it. And I
I
should
loved
really mention about
every.
Rahul.
Yeah. Sorry, please.
Yeah, he charted out a great plan to go with the flow. which helped us to keep the tracks on place and execute it in a good way. So I would like to mention overall about Storytel for that as well.
I would like to everyone, every character and the music has come out excellent in Tamil. I specifically would love to say Hemanga and Ruduparna and Damayanti has been awesome in Tamil. Specifically, if I say all of them have done a fantastic job, but if you meet them, please convey my regards. I love
Definitely.
the
Hemanga is the
nas,
youngest composer, and
yeah,
he
his
was
nasal
little.
tone, no, like Nagesh in Tiruvilayadal and all. His voice was
No,
so
he was
fascinating.
throughout narrating. I was there in the studio, and he was completely doing this and narrating the entire part of whatever he has done.
Yeah, so I liked
Yes.
it. Was it resembled more like Nagesh and all in the old classic Tiruvilayadal film and all. So
Yes.
we could visualize it like that.
Yeah, wonderful. We go to Priyangvada. If you want to share something from the Hindi version.
First, I would like thanks to that Anandji. You written very well this script. When it came to me, I had challenged how to get translated in Hindi, keeping it just same. So luckily, I got a good translator. He's also writing mythology in Hindi books. He's writer also, translator. So he did, and he said, "Priya, I love the story. I like the way he wrote the story, even different perspective. Because I wrote this story in mythology, and he put the taken the character from mythology and wrote the story in different point of view. So we enjoyed a lot, and I heard the story in my childhood from my dadi. So a different story I heard from my dadi, and I learned different story when I'm reading the script. For me, it's really a very nice experience. Now, the second challenge is how we'll get the narration part. How we'll go. The script is nice. How we'll go for the voices. So luckily, again, we got a very good team called Silly Souls in Delhi. They're artists, they're theater artists. They had done a very good job with the story. They had to, all the voice acting is there. So I like all the characters in the story, the way they give the voices to the particular characters. I like the sound designing, the sound effects. Everything is well done. So I think all hats go to you personally, Anandji, because without a good script, we can't do anything else. So, and I was surprised when reading that all the thoughts coming on that, all the reviews, not on the Hindi listeners. I have just seen that some Marathi listeners or other language listeners also came for Hindi and they write good comments about the story. So I feel okay, delighted for that. Yeah, okay, we did a good job. Thank you.
Thank
Lovely.
you, thank you, Premadaji. I heard it, and this the theatre artists are so good. I think are they from Delhi theatre?
Pardon?
From which Delhi? Are they from Delhi? The theatre
Yeah, the
artists.
artists are from Delhi. Yeah, this is Silly Souls as a company called. They have the artists, a group of artists there. They're doing all the plays like that. So they did this like the same way. The all
It's
artists are.
very professionally made and great voice modulation. When I heard it, I have a small request which I told to Saromita. Let them put Silly Souls, but please put the all the artists' name in the credits. It should not be known only in the company's name. The translator's name has to be put, the music director's name has to be put, and every artist's name has to be put because it's like any other production. No? So Hindi, my only it is fantastically done. My only request is let the company's name Silly Souls be put, but please mention the artist's name also who have done the work because it's a teamwork. And a writer who writes has only 10% of the part to play. It's like film. The script forms
Yeah.
the basic 10%, but the entire crew name is put. So I think in all other languages you have put that, but in Hindi only the company's name is put. My request is everyone for Silly Souls, all the artist name who has played each character should come in the credits, and please convey my gratitude to them. And
I
I
will.
would
I
love
will.
to know who played who what in Hindi also, like all other languages.
Yeah.
Marathi and all they have put all the characters' name. Marathi, Malayalam, everywhere they have put all the characters' name.
Yeah.
Hindi also can do that.
We have
It's a
actually
great,
made a promo especially to give credits to all the team members who have been part of each of the language versions.
including
So
sound designer and music director. It doesn't
yes,
everything should come. No, all have been the part. It's a teamwork, including the
yeah,
entire people. How the book maybe after 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, these credits should remain. People should remember this as a journey which we all did together, rather than just one man show. Somebody wrote and anonymously it was produced. It should not be that. Everybody wants this because it is close to all our hearts. So it should come like that. Is my request.
Lovely. Moving on to Moitri for Assamese.
Hello, everyone. Namaste,
Hi.
Anandji.
Namaste.
Uh, First of all, I was with Storytel for since it's been a while that I'm not there, so it's very nice to see everybody. And here it is New Year, Assamese New Year. So I wish health and prosperity to all of you guys.
Thank you. It is
Uh,
Vishu for us also. So
okay,
next
okay.
Bihu is
Happy
called
New
Vishu.
Year then. All right.
Vishu and
Anandji,
most dressed
I
for the
want to
party.
congratulate you
Thank
for
you.
Nala Damayanti. It's a wonderful play, and it's a first audio drama in Assamese for Storytel that we had the pleasure to do, and I was the personally involved. I played the role of Nala Damayanti, sorry,
Oh,
and
great.
it was a beautiful experience for all the artists, and we were very fortunate to get the best of the artists, right from the narrator, the Sutradhar, to Nal, to Damayanti, to Brahma, to Rituparna, everybody, and it was a great team effort, and we had a great time recording it. And I must say that the humor that you have incorporated in the original script, our translator did a brilliant job in translating it into Assamese and retaining the humor. So I'm very proud of her, and I'm so glad that we could, be the closest, because I have read the English script, and it's so humorous, like Himanga's character. It's so so funny and yet so meaningful, and it has been retained in Assamese. So I'm happy that I could contribute uh, as a publisher to this play. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Assamese, I heard Assamese song has been beautiful, and I especially loved the voice of Brahma and Damayanti. Of course, now I know who is behind that voice. Brahma's voice was so resonating. I thought this guy has a beautiful voice. Assamese, I
Yes.
don't know his
He's
name.
a veteran
Uh,
theater artist.
Wonderful rendition. All of them are good. All Brahma played across is good, but Assamese Brahma stood out among all. If I may say, I'm not comparing
Thank you.
anything, but
I'll
my
definitely
first,
convey your wish to him.
it's I'm sure it's a fascinating actor to watch. Also, he would be because the way he controls the voice and other characters also in Assamese, but Brahma is what something which stood out for me. I said, okay, this is my Brahma, my exact Brahma.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Moving on to Vineet for Gujarati.
Hello everyone, Namaste Anandji. I have been reading your book since a very long time now, be it Asura or Sivagamini, and I really like the perspective you bring into the story and how it sounds different every time you kind of read it. So when I got the script of Nala Damayanti, I read it and I knew the canvas that it was written at. So I initially thought that let me just get this translated beautifully and then my job is done. After the translation I was like, let me just cast a very good team of artists and then my job is done. But it was never done there. So when we were recording, I think Rahul would also tell the same thing, that we had an entire team of 5 to 8 artists who had come to the office, and we had a blast while recording. Everybody was getting in the studios, they were just waiting out, they were playing their part, and it was a whole blast. So now when the final output came out, I'm so happy to tell you that it has kind of crossed all the consumption or the listening records of all the books that we already have, because the kind of audiobook it has turned out to be. And we anyone, if I feel like want to tell them what kind of Gujarati audiobooks do you have, I would like to send Nala Damayanti as the first listen, because it has all of it. It is not just a single voice, or it is not just any multi voice. It is an entire package of giving you multi voice with music and a little bit of song into it. So it is a complete package that we got in just because of Nala Damayanti in Gujarati. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I heard Gujarati, wonderful music. Music is wonderful, of course, and the entire way the language has been used. I cannot follow entirely Gujarati, but when I hear it, I can understand somewhat. The word choices has been fascinating, and the voice artist Rituparna in Gujarati, Hemanga also. I loved it. All of them have done a wonderful job. I'm specifically telling these, and Damayanti also. The voice has been fascinating. Uh, Convey my regards to them. It was a great job done in this language.
Definitely,
Thank you so much.
definitely. Thank you.
And over to Surabhi. Uh, yes.
Um, Hello, Anandji. First
And
of all, as Vineet said, been reading your books for many years. So it was, it was a pleasant surprise when at Storytel they said we'll get to work with one of your stories. With Nala Damayanti, one of my major concern was to retain how you have written, to retain the same flavor in translation. So like with the translator to work in
Surabhi, you are
retain.
Bengali, right? You are
No,
Bengali?
I'm a
Odia.
Kannadiga.
Huh?
I'm a
Pardon?
Kannadiga.
Sorry, sorry.
Surabhi is
Okay.
Kannada. Yeah.
No, she didn't mention which language. That's why I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry for
Uh,
that.
Sorry about that. I take care of Kannada publication at Storytel. But that's a very common misunderstanding about me everywhere. Um,
Surname, no?
yeah. So with in Kannada, we got a veteran theatre group. Benaka team is a very old theatre group in Karnataka. We got team members from there to do the recording. I was at the studio. The team had so much fun while recording, especially the songs. They were embodying the characters. So when I saw that happening, I had a lot of faith in how the production would pan out. And yeah, it overall has been a very very interesting experience because we've done other dramas in Kannada. We've done Girish Karnad's plays, but this was a whole different and whole new experience. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Surabhi. Kannada, I was scared because Kannada's theatre is something of giants, like Marathi and Gujarati. Kannada has a huge theatre from Girish Karnadji to so many people. So how we will take my book? This is a this is not what you call. It's a fun book, right? Unlike my other books, this is more into it's a very jovial, fun read. Of course, there is some philosophy and other things into it, which I try to put in all my books. But compared to a book like Asura or Ajaya or Vanara, which are all very serious books, this is something which I enjoyed and wrote. It was just written for fun. Uh, so how the theater artists will take it because they are used to playing very serious work, very deep works. But when I so Kannada when you were doing it, I was skeptical how the people will take it. But I found it has been taken in all seriousness and it has been done a wonderful job. And Kannada is such a sweet language to hear also when you hear it. Both Kannada and Telugu has a kind of uh, when you especially talk about mythological stories, the Purana stories, the language just melts. Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu, all these three languages. Maybe we have from childhood we have been hearing and seeing mythological stories in these languages. It feels so natural to talk in the characters talking in Kannada, even though the story happens in Vidarbha. So ideally, it should have been in Marathi. But for me, when you hear it in Kannada, fascinating job has been done, especially the characters, the voice modulation given by Kali and other characters. It is fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I would like to then end talking about Bengali because Raja Bhattacharya is a very popular theatre actor, and Indrani, who's one of the producers, she's also been in audio drama production for a really long time. And the three songs that they have composed, it's very similar to, I think, what Tamil has done because that guy has played, Raja Bhattacharya has also played Rituparna's character. And he was so excited. So he went ahead and composed three songs. And as you said, it's very Bengalish, like how it has come up. Each of these songs have come out very unique to its languages, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for
Bengali,
joining.
Bengali
Yes.
people are not joined. Bengali Mr. Bhattacharya.
I'm the publisher for Bengali.
Oh, okay. So I was just waiting for the Bengali.
I'm the publisher for Bengali. As you
Bengali,
remember,
as you
that
said, that we had discussed also. The songs I played in loop. I think a fantastic song in Bengali. It's a total different flavor which has been given in Bengali and Assamese also. maybe I'm not used to hearing much of Bengali song. I being a South Indian. Other languages I hear, including Marathi, since I'm in Mumbai or Mumbai, Marathi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Hindi, Malayalam. I hear Bengali, Assami. These are like for me it was such a fascinating. Of course, long back I heard Ravindra Sangeet and all, but not the Bengali folk theatre. I'm not very familiar with it. It was such a fascinating experience. The Bengali songs have been, and the artists also wonderful, great work. Thank you very much.
Superb. And thank you for this part of the session where all the publishers were very happy to join this conversation. And we will move forward to the next session with Anand, talking a little more about his work, and also we will know about his inspirations and his future work also. So thank you guys. And Anand, if you want to leave a last note for the publishers or the team.
Thank you very much. It has been a fascinating journey with all of you. As I said, the writer is only 10% of it because so many people have worked on it. I am so grateful to all of you that you have given your time, energy, enthusiasm to create such a wonderful product in each language. I'm so grateful to that. All the translators who have done a great job, all the music directors, the producers, the directors of the show, each of the artists, the sound recordists, each and the marketing people, every one of them I want to thank from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Hopefully, my next one, which is coming with Storytel, that also we will do such a great job like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you guys.
Pleasure.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Samita. Thank you, Anandji.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
So we move on to the second part of our conversation. Anand, we would really want to know from you when we started talking about writing these stories. And I remember you coming up with Nala Damanti, and you have written so many, of course, from Asura, which was Ravana's perspective. And then I remember talking to you, and you would just come up with so many ideas, like in one go. So, what was that thing that you thought in Nala Damanti would really come out, and you would give a twist to it and fictionalize it? And absolutely, your vision was so correct that it has come out to be a brilliant audio drama, and it actually is a movie, as you were saying. It could actually translate itself to a wonderful movie. So what was your vision when you started writing?
So, Ramita, do you remember when I met, as I said, I wanted something to experiment actually.
Yeah.
I've been writing very serious book, but basically I started as a humor writer in Malayalam, satire and humor. I started as that. I'm not a serious person at all. I cannot be serious for 5 minutes. So for me, writing books like Asura, they are all wonderful experience, but they are all very painful to write. Uh, they are so intense. You get exhausted writing a book like Asura or Anajaya, Duryodhana's this thing, or even Bahubali for that matter, so intricately plotted and other things. The three books of Bahubali or Vanara, such an emotional book. I wanted to experiment something very light-hearted yet very deep, which was a very tough task to do for any writer. So I wanted to. So when I got an opportunity to work with you, I thought, why not experiment here? And I don't think not many publishers or producers will take the kind of risk you took with me and allow me to write something fun-filled one. The only thing which I remember having written something like this is for my Asura Kids with Penguin, the Puffin books, but that was a kids book basically. So there I had used whatever humor sense which I doubt I have. I tried using that, but I wanted to see whether I can create a romance. Romance, I have not written much, though my books have romance, whether it is Shivagami or Vanara. Uh, my books are all historical fiction or mythological fiction, serious books, telling it from the other side and all. So I wanted to write something in the Disney space. What
Yeah.
Disney creates, how Disney creates beautiful stories. A man meets a woman, and I wanted it to be a woman saving a man, not the other way around.
Hmm.
It's not a damsel in distress. It's a dude in distress story, if you ask me. So it's
Poor dude.
Damayanti is Huh?
Poor
So
dude,
you,
seriously,
a pure
Nala.
dude. Nala is a poor dude. No, it's a dude in distress.
Huh.
So it's Damayanti is the one who is saving, along with the help of her friends like Hemanda and other people. So it's a dude in distress story, which I wanted to experiment. Which what Disney has been, not the classical Disney films, but what Disney has been doing. So I have a dream that to take Indian stories worldwide. Something which we tried in Bahubali, but beyond that something. So this is like my experiment in doing that, taking Indian stories worldwide, telling it. So this was, I was doing like an experiment, and fortunately you came like a scapegoat, and I thought I will experiment it here, to be very frank.
But it had come out brilliantly when it is.
I'm so grateful that somebody allowed me to do move away from my usual space of writing from antagonists, which is what every producer and every one wants. And you allowed me to do something which I never done before. And I'm happy that it has come out decently well, and I can continue to do something like this. It proved to me myself, because I am in challenge with myself. I'm not competing with anyone else. So I wanted to see whether I can write something humorous, light-hearted, which everybody can enjoy, which can be translated to every language, which is language neutral, which will be humorous and deep, which will have, which will be fast with cliffhangers everywhere in every episode, which is a known story but told totally differently, which is rooted in our culture, but it is not very specific to say Kerala or Tamil Nadu or any place like that, which is pan-Indian, pan-world, perhaps
Hmm.
something what Disney does. No, Disney tales can be told in any language. So
Yeah.
why are we not? We have such fantastic stories. Why don't we tell it like that? So it is my experiment in doing that, and I am grateful that so many of your team came together and did such a fantastic job in all languages. So I'm always grateful for that.
Lovely, Anand. I think you're so right when you talk about it being a very universal in nature, because it's a perspective from Hemanga, which is basically a duck who's telling the story, and it is a love story. It has got action, it has got comedy, it has got romantic moments, it has got everything. It's so I think it's a wonderful thing that could be just so fit for audio drama, and so it had the
When I
music.
wrote it, wanted it to unfold like a Disney film.
Hmm.
That's my benchmark. So if it has come like that, like a Disney film, the entire visual. So I have one advantage over Disney. No, I don't have any big budget, except in the sense, if you're doing it as a film, you need a 300 crores for this to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in an audio drama, one good thing is you can create a product and use the listener's imagination as the set,
Yeah.
listener's imagination as the camera. Only the music, which you people have done so wonderfully, all your team members, the music and the dialogue and the voice artists are doing, the rest is created in the mind space of the listener. It's a great advantage. So I can compete with the Disney. It's a very audacious thing to say, but I would like to say it like that. I have always big Ravana like dreams, so it's an audacious thing to say. It is like in an audio drama, can you challenge a Disney film? Is my with an Indian story rooted in Indian Puranas. We have so many stories to tell. As I used to say, I got another 100 stories to tell like this, or perhaps another 500 stories to tell like that.
Hmm.
Whether we'll be able to tell it or not is a separate thing. But there are so many stories. If not I, someone else will tell it. We have so many
Hmm.
such a rich heritage.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
Wonderful. And I think the plan is kind of, it has panned out really well. And I hope more and more people listens to it. And someday it takes a shape of a film also. I think it's a fantastic story for a feature film. Now, I really would like to ask you this. Of course, as I used to speak with you, so many ideas and from the mythology would come up. And of course, I'm being myself a mythology buff, would have a great time speaking with you every time we talk about concepts. You you have you won a award or something when you were 6 year old on a quiz which was on Puranas. So how did this whole mythology spin start for you at 6 years
I
old?
I had always been a rebel. I was so much interested in mythology so that I can ask questions and trouble my elders. I was troubled right from my childhood. So most of my class school days I have spent outside the class standing on my knees and watching the cows graze on the field. because I'll create some trouble and teacher will ask me to go out and stand. And I ensure that one or two of my friends who are very studious guys also, they are also in trouble, and I have company when I am standing outside on my knees. So, so I had always been a rebel. So mythology was something, Puranas were something which fascinated me always because I found them very fantastic. I didn't know the deep meaning of that when I was a child. So for me, it was all fun. No, so much fantasy. Say God with a elephant head. So I used to wonder what would happen. My father's name also is Neelakantan. Imagine the father coming home, finding a 5-year-old child, and he getting angry and cutting off his head, and then putting the first creature's head he sees and calling it Ganesha.
Mm.
I used to wonder what would happen if my father gets angry and cut off my head, and what he finds is a pig or a dog's head to fit on my head as a 6-year-old. So this kind of questions used to trouble me a lot.
Mm.
How will Ravana enter a room with his 10 heads? How will he sleep? Uh,
I remember you telling me this. How does he sleep? I mean, with
how
10
he, can,
heads.
he cannot sleep on his side. He can sleep only on his back or only on his face, which may choke him also. In all 10 heads, he cannot even move around. So, only advantage Ravana will have is to sing a group song alone. That's the only advantage of having 10 heads. These are the questions as a 6 or 7-year-old which I used to wonder, sit and wonder. He can sing a group song alone, no, with 10 heads. Other than that, what is the advantage of having 10 heads? So these are the kind of questions. Even
Singing,
naughty
singing.
questions, very naughty questions as a child, which I used to ask and get knocked on my head by the elders. Like the squirrel having stripes because Lord Sri Ram had the squirrel story, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Lord
With his hand on
Sri
it.
Ram had patted him on the back, and the
Mm.
squirrel had 3 stripes. And I used to wonder how Sita would look like zebra if that is the case, logically.
Yeah.
But it's a naughty question to ask for an 8-year-old, and I got hit by my parents for asking that. So I was troubled right from my childhood, but I used to study all these things, hear hear them, watch these, just to ask this kind of troubling questions. I have not changed, even in my late 40s. Now I am asking the question to the entire world, perhaps instead of had they allowed me to ask all these questions, then no, the interest would have waned. Since it was trouble, now I have become a global trouble, perhaps, or at least a national trouble.
Which is good for us, your readers, your listeners.
So Damayanti also is a irreverent book, no, if you really ask. It is written with all respect to the mythology, but it is also, it questions a lot. It
Yeah,
questions it asks a lot of relevant questions, is what I feel, through the voice of
right.
Hemanga,
Hmm.
through the voice of Rituparna.
At
It
the
asks
very beginning,
questions at the
at the
very
very
beginning.
beginning, when Brahma is actually going to destroy his own creation.
These are the questions which troubled me right from the childhood. What is the purpose of human? Why? Because every other creature has a purpose. What is the purpose of human beings?
Hmm.
This is a trouble. Human beings are trouble for the world, and trouble for the God also if he exists.
Hmm.
That's what the question the Brahma asks. Because no other creatures have religion. If they are all creation of God, they don't have religion, right?
Hmm.
Why only humans have religion and they trouble God so much? So he would be such a big nuisance for the God, if at all the God exists. If human
Hmm.
has created a God, that's a separate thing. So I created a God, that is Kali, which was created by humans. So all these
Hmm.
things have come in the story.
Hmm. Lovely, lovely. So what was your, like you always wanted to be an author, or how did it is a bit of your childhood to your life growing up years question we would want to know. Did you always wanted to be an author? At what point did you take a decision that you're going to be?
No, I never. I always loved telling stories. I'm a good liar, so I used to tell a lot of stories, a lot of lies, and very creative, fantastic stories as excuse for all the naughtiness that I did. including aliens kidnapping me, all kind of lies I have told, all kind of stories I used to make up. So right from my childhood, I was so one way my teachers found to control me was to ask me to tell stories, come out and tell stories in front of the
Hmm.
class. My earliest childhood memories is making up stories, telling teachers that I have written. I'm very lazy to write, so I make up extempore stories even at the age of 8, 9, 10 and all. Two or three kids will listen, rest of them they didn't care. They will be playing behind. After all the free time, I'll be in the front talking about detective stories, talking about I playing as a detective, then fantasy stories, how the ghost came yesterday night and talked to me, so and so things. So that training I got right from my. I used to find a lot of ghosts everywhere, lurking everywhere, asuras lurking everywhere.
Ah.
Vivid imagination I always had, and I used to draw a lot. Cartoons I used to draw. So my first storytelling was drawing cartoons, especially of the teachers. My teachers masquerading as different asuras. I used to get caught. Got those days there was no concept of what you call different kind of intelligence. Intelligence was only one kind of intelligence. You had to study and get marks. So I was considered dumb, and any other form of intelligence like telling stories, creative writing, drawing, all were considered the waste of time.
Hmm.
So when I'm drawing the cartoon of teachers, it used to be very funny cartoons for me and other students, not for the victim, the poor victim who used to be depicted with a tail, big canines, and big, huge horns and other things. And I had the uncanny ability to get the ugliest face of the person who I was drawing. So it used to be funny to everyone except the victim. And one day it will be fun. Every day you are drawing different faces and having stories of them as a comic format of the teacher. So these were my storytelling training actually.
Ah.
But later, as a midlife crisis, I went to write stories
So
because
your that was the debut book, right? Asura was your debut book
in English, in English.
in
In
English.
Malayalam, I had written a lot of satire in different pen names because I was
Hmm.
holding a government job. I couldn't write at that time.
Hmm.
I couldn't write in my own name, so a lot of pen names I used to write a lot of satire about ministers and
Oh.
other people, very nasty satire at which people used to enjoy with different pen names
Hmm.
and different names, parody songs and all in Malayalam comic. See, Malayalam has a most of the cartoonists in India were from Kerala, if you see.
Hmm.
In English also, a lot of them from Shankar onwards. It is a very sarcastic culture.
Hmm.
Sarcasm is in the even now. Perhaps that is the only language wherein mainstream TV, in front of the chief minister or the prime minister, they make fun of them without any
Hmm.
consequences. Because if you take the Chakyar or Otandulal culture right from the medieval ages, this was a tradition that in the temples nobody was spared, not even the gods were spared
Hmm.
from to be made fun of. That sarcasm is inherent in a Malayali, actually.
Hmm.
So I used to get away with that. So even if you see Asura, even though it's a serious book, it's very sarcastic book also.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Each of the book has a element of satire and sarcasm in that.
Hmm.
In Naladameyanti, it has come out in awkward because it is a fun book. It's a sarcastic book. Its
Yeah.
core also makes fun of the society. As
Hmm.
makes
Yeah.
fun of customs, it makes fun of religion, it makes fun of everything, not in a disrespectful way, but
Hmm.
rooted in Indian. It's a Indian traditional way of satire, not the
Hmm.
Western way of satire. Like
Right.
if you see a art form like Ottantullal in medieval Kerala,
Hmm.
right from medieval Kerala, one of the greatest writers in the world, perhaps, which people may not know him outside, but for a Malayali who has read Shakespeare, Malayali who has read many other language books, someone like Kunjan Nambiar is at par or ahead of Shakespeare in the way he has created drama in 16th century, drama
Hmm.
and art forms,
Hmm.
where he uses the voice of Hanuman to make fun of Pandavas and Krishna.
Hmm.
So this is a tradition which is there always. We have all grown up hearing that.
Hmm.
I use the same style of storytelling in Nalada Hindi. So Malayalis may easily recognize it, the kind of storytelling. That's why Diva was telling I use the voice of a Chakya, the traditional storyteller who tells this kind of story. I use that for Udupana in Malayalam. So I
Hmm.
know the tone of it. I think Kannada also has that tradition through Ekshagana, where in Ekshagana also they use this kind of tradition. So Kannada also has captured it very well. Other languages are not, I'm sure in every Indian language, because Indian tradition is about that.
Hmm.
We we are not, there is no culture of blasphemy. We are free to criticize our gods because that is also a kind of bhakti.
Hmm.
Criticism of a god or even denial of a god is one of the fundamentals of Indian culture.
Hmm.
There's no, I'm not talking about recent Indian culture. Traditionally,
No,
for
I
last
agree.
2000, 3000 years, even gods are not, the karma doesn't spare the gods also.
Hmm.
Karma doesn't spare Krishna or Rama. Similarly, the poets doesn't have not spared the gods from being questioned.
Hmm.
Everyone gets questioned in India. It's always a debate. It's never a commandment. Even Gita is a debate.
Absolutely. Hmm. And I think that makes Hinduism the most liberal religion in that way, because you can
Classical,
question.
classical Hinduism, yes. I don't know what is happening now, but classical
Now.
Hinduism is
Yeah, yeah,
culture like that.
yeah. Lovely, lovely. So I would also want to know from you, Anand, because you have written the prequel for Bahubali in the three-part series. And also you have been a screenwriter. We have seen Sita coming out as a TV series, which was written by you. So who but you can give us the most wonderful key elements of difference in writing a audiovisual content and audio content? I mean, I think a lot of writers would be really helped with the a little bit of tip that you're going to give us.
Uh, See, any for me, even my book is visual. That is one reason. I think many of the country's best directors had allowed me to work with them because they have. I don't have any. I didn't have, at least when I started out, any contacts. I was living in a small town. I was called to Mumbai rather because many of the directors had read my books. I had that fortune, and they found that my writing is visual. So that is how I came to screenplay. I came very late to screenplay. I am not somebody who came. I don't have a story of coming to Mumbai, sleeping in footpath, and struggling to write, which is many writers have gone through the grind. For me, I was very fortunate that I came through a parachute, perhaps because I was fortunate. Many of the directors, like Rajamouli sir, had read the book and had called me. Same with Rakesh Prakash sir, with whom I am working now. Uh, Same with many other big directors in the country, who had, some of them I am working, some of them I will work soon, or some of the projects fizzled out. But almost many of the directors have read it. One thing which I decided when I decided to write was I will write visually. I don't care about the language. Language is important. I try to make it very lyrical, but English is not my first language, so I cannot claim to be uh, a big expert in English. I came to English very late. I sha- I even now think in Malayalam. I am very rooted in my language skills. English is a second language. I know that. So I think in mother tongue, translate it to English in my head, and then I write. So my English is very simple. So I keep my language simple. I keep my language visual. So how it translates to audio, how it translates to different kind of different languages is because I don't play with language. I play with the story. I play with the visuals. So this helped me even from Asura. Asura is now in 14 languages. It's a hit in Indonesian. It's a hit in Sri Lankan. It's all language neutral, right? It is a hit in Bangladeshi Bengali. It's cultural neutral, language neutral because it is visual. So I take my inspiration, even though my storytelling is from Indian, I take inspiration from Disney films. Disney films are language neutral, even though they play a lot with language. It's language neutral. You can translate to any language, but it is high on visuals. Same thing I write when I do audio also. Slight tweaking I did for audio because the words has to resonate when you talk. So songs and other things I wrote it so that they rhyme and they will look, they will hear very well. But when you write, if somebody is attempting, I would say the era of writing beautiful language. It's only an added advantage. You cannot depend only on your language skill to write a story. It has to be very, very visual because people are used to seeing stories rather than hearing them as poetry. So even when you write for audio stories, make it very visual. Is my is what I would give as an advice. Perhaps I am right, perhaps I am wrong, but it has worked for me.
Lovely. And also the writing for audio, which has kind of popping up more and more with time since last 5 years. Storytel was the first audiobook company to launch in this country, and then in so many languages that too now today in this at this time. What do you think? I mean, of course, we do see the industry growing with time, and also there's a wonderful future prediction that it's going to grow at a certain rate. What is your take on the audiobook industry or this form
Audio
of
is the first form of storytelling. Ramayana, Mahabharata were all oral tales. Mahabharata is narrated, or Ramayana is narrated by Lava and Kusha as an audio tape, right? Mahabharata was narrated by the Sutas. So India has an oral storytelling tradition. We came to writing very late. India is even now. They say there are 300 Ramayanas. A.K. Ramanujan talks about 300 Ramayanas. But 300 are the written Ramayanas. If
yeah.
you take the oral storytelling, there will be more than a lakh of Ramayanas, countless Ramayanas and countless Mahabharatas. India is a audio storytelling tradition. Indians in villages even now they hear the story rather than read it. Reading is very recent. Writing novels are hardly 200, 300-year old. In Indian novel is around 100, 150 years old perhaps. And as such, in the world, even though you talk about the Kadambari, the first Sanskrit novel in prose in the world perhaps is around 1300 years old. Otherwise, novel as a format, short story as a format is very recent. It has always been an audio storytelling where prose and poetry mixed together. Exactly what we have done for Nalada Mehndi. We tell the story, we have a song, then you tell the story, you have a song. That is how Indians have been telling the story. So I think the audio is going to catch up like fire because we are using technology to reach it to people. So this is coming back to the root, is coming back home. It's not something new. Only thing is that we are giving it with new technology for the youth. We are wired to hear audio stories. So that, I think this is going to be the future. And one more thing I will add, visual storytelling like films, OTT and other things have a constraint of budget. That's what I said. The same Naladamendi, if I have to take a film, I need a 300 crore budget or 200 crore budget minimum, even though it doesn't have big war sequence and all, because people will not accept it anything lesser than that. As a stage play, it may work, but as a film, people have seen Bahubali, people have seen RRR,
Right.
people have seen KGF, people have seen huge visuals, people have seen Disney films. So you cannot go with a Naladamendi with a small budget of 10 crore or 15 crore. But in audio, you can create the same magic with a far, far, far lesser budget of it. And we have countless story to say how many 300 crore films you can make. But in that 300 crore, you can make 3,000 films perhaps, 3,000 audio stories perhaps. We are, and even then we would not have even exhausted even 1% of the kind of stories which we all have to tell. All of us can create so many stories. We are bubbling with stories. The culture is bubbling with stories in every language. There's so many stories to be told. My only request is make it more reachable for people to storytell also, if I may say so.
Yeah.
Because people are not that tech savvy. Not everyone has a credit card in India. So we may be missing out a huge potential by because this is in rural India. Rural India, 120, 130 crore people are waiting to be tabbed, where we can take this story forward. And we restrict it only to people with having credit card, whichever audio platform I am talking about. Credit cards, or you make it a tech barrier, we are losing it out.
Right, right.
Unsolicited advice, but I can't help telling that because I'm so passionate about it. We have to take the story to so many people, all the stories, not just my stories. I'm just one small cog in the huge wheel. There are so many wonderful storytellers in the country, and there are so many eager listeners. Let technology be not a barrier to it.
Yeah, so there are these debit card and UPI options, and of course, this is a wonderful suggestion. We will also, as and when time goes by, it is also going to be more, convenient, or people will also understand it better, and the user interface is going to get a little easier. So I think it is a wonderful time that we are seeing this whole
I
transition
would
from
even
the.
say somebody wants to hear it should be like a rental. In the sense, somebody wants to hear a story, pay GPay 10 rupees and get the story downloaded. It should be as
Yeah,
simple as that. Because from studying from the market, I'm telling, as an audio market, somebody committing as a subscriber for years, you as a potential, we will be taking only 0.5% or 1% of the market. There is 120, 130 crore people to be tapped.
right.
Everyone with a mobile phone is a customer.
Audience, customer. Yeah,
It's an audience.
yeah.
It's a participatory thing. Somebody wants to hear a story, they pay 10 rupees, 5 rupees through a GPay. Everybody has GPay or whatever, Paytm, whatever it is, any format. Instead of having a subscription model or a credit card model, which restrict to only the upper crust of the society, it's waiting to be tapped. I don't know whether it's the right platform to tell that, but I am telling it as a lay audience, as an audio book consumer. I have all the subscription of all the channels of audio channels, including Storytel. I'm an avid Storytel listener, so that's what I would say. I can afford. Many people can afford, but there are people who would like to hear only 3 stories in a month.
Yeah. We will definitely take this suggestion as a note for ourselves to improve on. And of course, we want Naladamanti to reach to so lot of audience. I mean, there are so many people yet wanting to probably listen to these kind of stories. And as someone in the team also today said that it is the way probably we should be giving these stories out, the mythological stories out to the newer generations to come. And yes, and your last note, Anand, for the show. We have come to almost an end to this conversation, but as always, I love having conversations with you, so that can also go on. And I would also love to know, where did the aliens kidnap you and take you to? So that's a
No aliens,
conversation.
no aliens kidnapped me. I just made it up as an excuse.
Right.
Spontaneously.
So yes,
I
the
read
last.
something. I had read something, some book, so I decided this could be the one excuse because we had gone fishing with 2, 3 of our friends and were late to the class. So when teacher caught, other before any of my friends could say it, I said that aliens kidnapped me and took us, and we had negotiated with them and came back here and got back for that for the lie more than making up the story more than the aliens actually kidnapped me.
Super fun. So yes, your last note to the team and to your audience and readers who can come and now listen to your books here on Storytel.
I would say only this. This has been an excellent journey. As I said, audio drama is perhaps the most what you call participatory form of storytelling. It is very immersive. If you hear it, it will take you. It is like reading a book, also like watching a film. So this is a great opportunity to uh, experience how our ancestors would have listened to the stories before the advent of cinema or the books. Because I, as a child, have experienced this in my village when the storytellers used to come. Nothing has matched. No Dolby Theatre, no IMAX has matched that experience of a great storyteller coming and telling stories with his all his instruments, with his harmonium or his tamburu, telling that story like that. This Naladamanti and all the audiobooks which Storytel has produced give that experience to you. So never miss that. This you will experience a different form of experiencing stories, especially to the avid readers. I am an avid reader. I'm always, I never been found without a book in my hand since I learned reading, or even before I learned reading. Any book for that matter. I read widely. But for me also, hearing the story, even hearing the Naladamayanti for the first time, it was an experience for me, even though I had written it. I could visualize it properly more than when he wrote it. Uh, so please do hear it. Audio is a way how our ancestors used to hear. That is the most fundamental form of storytelling. Even the cavemen might have been telling stories like that. So that is, we are wired to hear stories rather than to see them, because your brain will create all the visuals. You are the music director, you are the cameraman, you are the editor, you are the director when you hear the stories. And there is no budget for this. So it could be a 3,000 crore film when you imagine it. Why stop at 300? Why stop at 300 crores or 400 crores? So do hear the story. And on a selfish note, do hear Naladamayanti. I believe I enjoyed writing it. It was my most fun project I have ever written in all my screenplays and all my books. And Storytel, Suromita and her team has done a wonderful job, and I'm very grateful to them. Do hear that stories and enter into the world of audiobooks. Storytel has a great collection. And one more thing I would say, why I use Storytel. Storytel has the greatest collection of all Indian languages. That is one advantage. So most of us Indians know at least three or four languages, right? Some of us know five or six languages. It is a good way to improve your language. So I hear story in Kannada. I hear, even though language is Malayalam, and Tamil and Malayalam I know very well. Hindi also I know very well. English also I know very well, reasonably well among all the four languages. So four languages I know very well, but I hear stories in Marathi, I hear stories in Kannada, I hear stories in Telugu. Now I am trying to hear stories in Bengali also, so that my language skills will improve. Most of us know, some of our kids, we speak our mother tongue a little bit. English is taking over as a language in most of the urban household. Introduce them to all these languages. They may not be able to read your mother tongue, your parents' tongue perhaps, or your own tongue, because many are mixed marriages. One will be of one language, the spouse will be of other languages. The kids will know a little bit of both, but they won't know the culture of either of the states. This is one opportunity to make them. They may not be able to read Malayalam perhaps, they may not be able to read Bengali perhaps, but they will be able to enjoy this book through Storytel, because all the classical great writers, beautiful production is there. They can hear it and understand the culture. It's a great way to get introduced to your parents' culture or your grandparents' culture. And without that, India as a culture will be lost. We have such beautiful languages, 8 classical languages, 22 great languages, and almost 3,000 dialects. What a fantastic culture we have. And 6,000, 7,000 years of civilization. We are all lucky, fortunate people to live in this country with so much countless stories. And Storytel is doing a wonderful job bringing all these languages together and putting them in a platform. So do listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. There are some comments I would like to read out that we have had since past 1.5 hour. Y2K156 writes, lovely audio drama and definitely worth a listen. Storytel Marathi and Storytel India sends you a lot of love. Excellent conversation and knowledgeable, says Sudeep Ray. And Isha Singh says, always been a big fan. What a pleasure to see this live. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Anand. Thank you for giving this time. Thank you for giving such a wonderful story. And we really, really look forward to many more coming our way from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is
Thank you.
my pleasure. Do hear Nandana.